Hey everybody, it's Peter Nielsen and welcome to Living Your Purpose podcast. This is something I do each and every week. And if you're just tuning in for the first time, you could also find us on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes. I wanted to go live tonight because I just have near and dear to my heart on the topic that I want to talk about. So, for all of you people that are just tuning in for the very first time, I've posted it on social media to about almost 1 million people. So, if there's people that are on here that are basically watching for the first time, my name is Peter Nielsen, and I love what I do. And bottom line is, I was born with an incurable condition called Crohn's disease. It's almost taken me out twice. I've had two near-death experiences, two surgeries that have taken out almost a little more than 3 feet of my small intestines, my ileum. And I just want to start from the get-go that any given day in the United States, there's approximately 70 million people that are dealing with digestive health issues, whether it's heartburn, ulcers, colitis, Crohn's disease, IBS, leaky bowel syndrome, just having an upset stomach, going to the bathroom, tremendously bloat. So in saying all that, in living with it for now decades, I can tell you firsthand that nutrition is such a big part of what has kept me out of surgery again. And right from the get-go, I have some great doctors. And some of the doctors that I have are a great practitioner, a family doctor, a great GI doctor for my gut, and also just I've had a great surgeon to do those surgeries. In saying that, I think it's important to understand that there's things that we can do to help relieve some of these ailments. There's nothing worse. You could have the best car in the driveway. You could be married to the love of your life. You could have a great family. But without your health, you can't live a purposeful life, in my opinion, the way God has intended you to. So if we cross our T's and dot our I's at the breakfast, lunch, and dinner table, and we're more diligent on what we're putting in this little circle called our mouth, we're going to have more quality in our life by far. So all I can say to each and every one of you is that what I wanted to go through this evening, today on this podcast, is triggers, is foods that you should avoid, foods that you should incorporate into your everyday eating. When I was diagnosed, my symptoms was I felt very tired. I had a low-grade fever. I would be achy. I would get the chills. And I went to the bathroom probably 15 to 25 times a day until I started bleeding internally. They put me on medication, and there are some designer drugs that now are put together for people that have IBD, inflammatory bowel disease. But for every purchase in life, there's a cost. So I have not been on any kind of medication for Crohn's for over 20 years. And I'm not recommending one way or the other. All I'm saying is that for anything that you purchase, that you ingest, there's a risk, and only you, your doctor, your family, and God should really determine if that risk the pros are greater than the cons. So a lot of the things that I'm talking about today will help anyone that has any kind of digestive health issues. But what I will say is that if you do have Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, these are autoimmune conditions, and a lot of the things that GI doctors will put you on are they're actually autoimmune suppressant drugs. So again, like I said before, if you're going to bring your autoimmune system a little, you're going to gear it down. What that means is that when I eat something, if my body doesn't recognize that, my autoimmune system runs amok, and it basically overreacts. So it's trying to get rid of that food that it doesn't recognize either this way or that way. And the cramping and the uncomfort is immense. So they do have drugs to kind of just shut down that autoimmune response and just slow that process. But in the same standpoint, a lot of these pharmaceutical agents have a risk of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, leukemia. So you need to do your due diligence. You need to make sure you do your homework. You need to interview the doctor, not vice versa. The doctor, there's great doctors and then there's not great doctors. They all bleed the same color, red. They're not God, they're human. Humans make mistakes. Some humans are smarter than others. So make sure if the physician that you're interviewing doesn't align with your lifestyle and what you're looking to accomplish, then go for a second opinion. It's so worth it. So the first thing that I wanted to discuss, kind of after giving my background, and every day I deal with inflammation in my small intestines, in my ileum. Your ileum is where you absorb all your nutrients, and then it goes, that's your small intestines, and then it goes into your large intestines, and that's where the food then is finally excreted out. So you need to make sure you're getting your nutrients from your food, but a lot of us, we shoot ourselves in the foot and we're not having the foods that are going to bring inflammation down. Instead, we're having foods that are actually going to irritate our lining of our gut, our intestines, our colon, our duodenum, our esophagus. And then we wonder why we're tired, we're bloated, we don't like how we feel. So again, for people that are just joining, I'm seeing more people joining in right now. It's so important to document for a good week on what you're eating. Food's going to either work for you or against you. You're going to recognize either feeling like a dynamo or feeling like someone unplugged your battery and feeling lethargic, whether it's 4 hours or 48 hours. You're going to know. That's why food is essential to our bodies. What do I always say? You are what you eat. So the first thing that I want to talk about is triggers. Triggers are not the cause of the ailment, but triggers ignite it, bring it out of remission. So you need to evaluate your lifestyle and your surroundings. One of the biggest triggers of Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, and can anybody guess? It's stress. And stress kills. When stress enters the body, it increases your cortisol, that fight or flight hormone. And if it's there for a short period of time, I mean, there's been studies where, you get your adrenaline going and maybe your child is stuck underneath an object. You can lift that object up, even if you're, not a strong woman or man, and then that cortisol will go down and it's served its purpose. If we live with too much stress, that fight or flight hormone called cortisol, what it's doing is it's actually going to increase inflammation. It's going to release a substance called homocysteine in the body. And it causes havoc. It causes cancer, heart disease, carcinogens, inflammation. So what we want to do is recognize what's stressful in our lives. You're going through a divorce. Did you just lose a family member or a friend? Do you have financial issues? Are you going through a divorce or a bad relationship? Are you constantly under attack or conflict? Those things are the number one cause to get your digestive enzymes, your bile, your pepsin, hydrochloric acid coming up and causing heartburn and really causing inflammation on the lining of your intestines. So that's the number one trigger. Another trigger, believe it or not, is sleep. And I remember when I was training, and for people that don't know, I won 50 bodybuilding titles after having 2 death experiences, being in a coma for 4 days, losing 3 feet of my intestines. I ended up winning Mr. America, Mr. Universe, Mr. World. Some of those trophies are in the back if you're watching this on YouTube. And I do love my life with a passion. But what I will say is that I used to think that sleep wasn't necessary. I would always say I run out of clock before I run out of energy. But sleep is the only time that your body repairs. So it's important for you to make sure you get at least 7 to 8 hours sleep. This is going to help you heal from the inside out. If you're working out, it's going to help on a cellular, muscular level. It's going to help basically heal your workout. But most importantly, your digestive health needs sleep to recover, to defrag your brain with the stress, and to heal your intestines. And the other trigger that a lot of people don't realize are the things I'm going to segue into, which are triggers of foods to avoid. And one of the worst things you can do as a trigger is eat right before you go to bed, because then you're not going to get sleep and your intestines is going to be in 5th gear. All the blood is down in your belly trying to digest that food in your ileum and in your colon, in your stomach, and you're not going to be able to get into a deep sleep to be able to heal and to be able to get de-stressed. So those are important things, but foods to avoid, and this is where you may not like me. This is where you may not agree, and we could agree to disagree. I just want to give you the facts. I've been doing this, I've been diagnosed with Crohn's disease for over 50 years. And all I can say is that it's so important to bring the inflammation down. So some of the foods that I believe with all my heart are irritants, not only because of what I'm saying, but medical science on how these foods actually increase inflammation. So some of these foods are cheese and dairy. And me being Italian, I mean, my mom, she was literally killing me with kindness because she would make all this pasta with gluten, and she'd just put cheese on top of cheese and Parmesan cheese. And before you know it, I loved it. But then I was living in the bathroom and we didn't really understand why, because, I thought that I was eating a hearty meal. But these are certain foods you need to be aware of or avoid so that you can allow your intestines to heal. And cheese and dairy, milk. I mean, milk and cheese are irritants. They increase inflammation. So think about this. If someone drinks milk or has cheese, it's creating inflammation in your intestines. So you're not going to be able to absorb any nutrients. And 98% of cheese is saturated, artery clogging fat. So I say no more. I love the taste. It's unfortunate. A lot of the things that we love and that are decadent are bad for us. And regardless if you have inflammatory bowel disease, regardless if you're one of the 70 million people that suffer from digestive health issues, cheese may taste good, but it's not good for you, period. The other thing is alcohol. And a lot of people, even myself, I like to have a drink every once in a while, whether it's, red wine, and you could use those excuses. The red wine has got resveratrol, which is an antioxidant that is wonderful for your heart health. You could get more resveratrol in dark grapes, and you could skip the alcohol that's going to dehydrate you and create havoc, inflammation. The alcohol is going to be broken down like sugar is, and you're going to end up gaining weight and not being able to get into a deep sleep because of the alcohol. Alcohol is a depressant. So if you are depressed, if you have anxiety, if you have bipolar, if you have anything that's going to be dealing with mental health, or if you're just going through a stressful period of your life, alcohol is not a good thing to medicate that with. It may help you fall asleep. It may squelch out pain for an hour or two. It will come back and bite you in the butt with a vengeance. So alcohol is another irritant. Another irritant is carbonated drinks, such as your soda, such as your beer. These things are just going to cause havoc to your digestive tract. So it's important not to have too much carbonation. People will say, well, when I have a carbonated club soda or carbonated drink, I'm not as hungry. True, because you're filling your belly with, air, and then you're wondering why you have gastric distress and you're getting bloated. And then on top of it, you're not probably having your macronutrients in reaching what you want. Carbohydrates for master fuel to the engine, protein, building block to muscle, good sources. And you're not having your poly and monounsaturated fats because you're bloated. So soda, carbonated beverages is not good. It's an irritant. The other thing is fatty meats, bacon and pork and beef. We live in a meat and potatoes kind of country, but I'm telling you right now, there was a study done on a human being, many people eating beef, 8 ounces of a filet mignon or a T-bone steak, and how long it took to digest that versus, say, egg whites, fish, whitefish, even your vegan proteins, it's so much more harsh as an irritant for anyone. So if you have digestive issues, you want to make sure that you are going to watch out for your fatty foods. The other one that is crazy when you think about it, but too much fiber. This country, we only get about 12 grams of fiber in a day for someone that is just eating regular. We should be getting 25 to 30 grams of fiber each and every day. But if I get 25 or 35 grams of fiber in one day, I may end up being in the hospital emergency room. So too much of a good thing for people that have inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, IBS, diverticulitis, though too much fiber could be a bad thing. The other thing is that you need to make sure that if you're going to have fibrous vegetables or fruits, a great example, you have a carrot, a raw carrot, it's hard. Cauliflower, hard. These cruciferous vegetables, hard. Broccoli, hard as raw. But abundance of antioxidants. I mean, you got amazing antioxidants in broccoli. You have amazing beta carotene in another antioxidant in carrots. But if you crunch on that carrot, it's hard in a raw state, it's hard for the beta carotene to be released into your bloodstream. So what you should do is slightly grill your vegetables, just so in Italian it's called al dente. It's still firm, but you're able to release the antioxidants and you're able to digest these vegetables, these fibrous carbohydrates better. The other thing to avoid is the skins of certain vegetables. So when I say the skins, like chickpeas, peas, green beans, I could go on and on and on. So a lot of these things, even nuts or popcorn, the kernels, these things can be irritants that will really, really get you in that point. So it's so, and I'm saying hello to somebody, I think it's one of my friends who's on my TV show, who's on this live podcast with me right now. So these are things that, so you need to slightly cook your vegetables, skin some of, like a cucumber, skin that cucumber, even an apple. So many of your anthocyanins, wonderful heart antioxidant, is in the red skin of an apple. But for someone like me, that's going to be hard to digest. That's going to be an irritant, even though that apple's got polyphenols, that apple has got, phenolic acid, it's got tremendous amount of fiber. It's wonderful. It's got the anthocyanins, like I mentioned, for your heart health, vascular health, but it also has tremendous amount of fiber. So do yourself a favor and start skinning certain fruit and certain vegetables, and cook the vegetables, especially your cruciferous vegetables, so that you're allowing your body to digest it and you're allowing your body to allow the antioxidants to be released. The other things is too much caffeine. Too much caffeine is going to possibly give spasms, contractions to your intestines. And you don't want that. And some of the other things that I live by is basically staying away from fried foods, staying away from processed foods. We all love, things. Sometimes we eat out of boredom and we're eating garbage. And it's so important. And then the other thing that you need to remember is to drink enough water. If you have digestive issues and you want to get that food out and absorb, you want to drink half your ideal body weight in ounces of water each and every day. And in saying that, you don't want to drink large amounts of water while you're eating, because it could waterlog your food and you won't absorb it as well. So wait 15 minutes prior, don't drink large amounts of water during, and wait 15 minutes after for drinking any kind of water. Now let's get into some foods to eat. And the foods that are going to bring inflammation down, and they're not irritants, are your rosemary, your ginger, your turmeric, your green tea, as I'm drinking it, your green tea extract, your triple version olive oil, your salmon that has omega-3 essential fatty acids. Those are all things that are going to do the opposite of the foods to avoid, which has the irritants. Those are going to bring inflammation down. They're going to get you less bloated. They're going to start allowing your body to heal from the inside out. And the things that I talked about, I have a detox drink that I put together that I'll share with you in the comments, but it has the ginger, the turmeric, the green tea extract. It has citrus, antibacterial, antiviral, grapefruit, and lemons, and an orange. So knowledge is power. It's so important to understand that you're the CEO of your own body. I've heard every excuse under the sun on why people don't exercise and why people don't eat well. Well, it starts and it ends with you. And everything that I just talked about are just really sound information that you could use immediately for your better digestive health. And it's another thing to understand is we take antibiotics. When we're sick, we get the flu and we're down for the count. But when we take the antibiotics, it kills the good and the bad bacteria. So we need to take probiotics and prebiotics so that we have more good bacteria that fights the bad guys. Because people that have unhealthy guts usually have more bad bacteria, not enough good flora, not enough good bacteria to fight the bad guys. The other thing that you should think about is to help your body break down protein and so forth is digestive enzymes. As we get older, we stop producing digestive enzymes as much. So between sleeping and exercising and, tomorrow morning when you get up, if you're stressed out of your face, before you get out of bed, spend 15 minutes in just meditating, being grateful for another day, being grateful for the roof over your head, for your loved ones, for your, as you can see, I got my Great Dane keeping me company. Grateful for your health, your occupation, your children. If you fill your brain with that, there's no way that as you're walking from your bedroom to the kitchen, there's no way that you can be stressed, angry, fearful, because you cannot. It's impossible to do that in the same brain. It's either one or the other. So my hope, my prayer for each and every one of you that are listening, that are watching, is that cross your T's at the breakfast, lunch, and dinner table. Be grateful. Speak life into yourself. Prophesize, your health. Instead of talking death over your life by saying this job sucks and I'm never going to lose weight and this marriage or relationship is not going to work out. Do the opposite. Say tomorrow or today when I wake up, I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to love the people that are in my life. I'm going to heal from the diagnosis that the doctor has given me. I'm going to work out. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to break this addiction. When you do that, your blinders are off. Your life changes. You walk into that goodness. And that is what my hope and my prayer is for each and every one of you. What I'm going to be doing in the days to come is I'm going to put a link together, and if people do have digestive health issues, all I want you to do is just fill out the wait list, your name, your address, an email, maybe a phone number. And what I want to do is then start an exclusive social media Facebook group for people that have digestive health issues. I want to invite you to Facebook Lives and webinars. I want to basically do Facebook Lives and teach you how to cook and eat, and to go through on a weekly basis news you can use so that you can get out of this abyss and live the quality-filled life that each of you deserve. If you have a question, you could always email me at peter@peternielsen.com. You can find us on here on YouTube under Peter Nielsen or Peter's Principles. You can find me on social media at Peter N. Nielsen. And you can definitely listen to the podcast, whether it's watching it on YouTube, listening to it on anywhere you get your podcast, whether it's Spotify, SoundCloud, whether it's iTunes. We will be there, and it's my honor and pleasure to serve each and every one of you. I've lived a blessed life. I want to finish strong, but the only way we can live with purpose is if we're healthy. And there's not a day that enemy, that the Crohn's disease doesn't want to show its head. And I need to be truly diligent. I need to be mindful. I need to feed and really love on my body, on what I eat. I need to condition my body so that if I do have a reoccurrence and it comes out of remission, the Crohn's disease, that I'm strong enough for the battle. And I would love for the rest of my days that part of my purpose, part of my legacy, is to motivate and educate each and every one of you, whether it's through my syndicated worldwide TV show that's on 4 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays on Astound TV network, or it's on Roku, on DBTV, worldwide on Saturdays and Sundays at 8:30 a.m. The bottom line is that I have a desire to give you news that you can use from someone that has lived it. How many times you go to a doctor and you have an ailment and the doctor's telling you exactly that he or she knows how you feel, but they're healthy? Or if someone is trying to teach you about, the Vietnam War or the Gulf War or World War II, they may have read about it, but they haven't lived it. They haven't been in that war. Or if someone is trying to talk to you about a divorce or cancer, and they've never had cancer, or they've never been through a divorce, that doesn't make sense to me. And again, I just want to put a shout out to my friend, Lamar Lewis. I see you on here. I pray for you and your family. You've been through a lot as well, and we know each other for decades. But before I go, again, I want to love on each and every one of you when it comes to taking care of the one model year that God has entrusted us with. We're here for a vapor for such a short period of time. So all you need to do is I'm going to put a link on here, and you can go to the landing page, just fill out your information, and I will be sending you more information and welcome you to a exclusive Facebook group just for digestive health. And you could be asking questions on a weekly basis, be doing webinars, be giving you different news and that you could put together when it comes to recipes. Digestive health is a real thing. And like I said in the very beginning, at any given time, over 70 million Americans are dealing with some kind of digestive stress, unhealthy gut every day. And there's over 3 million people that are walking around with either Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis in America at any given time. There's another 3 million that are walking around and they don't even know that they have Crohn's disease because they're too frightened or they just haven't been to the doctor yet. So take care of the one model year that God has given you. Go to the doctor, get your health, enjoy the rest of your life, and live the life that you're destined to live. We all deserve to live a purposeful life because we were born with a purpose to live a purposeful life. Each and every one of us, we have a very specific plan, and we have a due date that God is going to deliver blessing and breakthrough. Don't give up. It's closer than you think. Everyone have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you for joining me this evening. And until next week, I'm Peter Nielsen for Living Your Purpose podcast. Good night and God bless.